Do you ever wonder why some people are super duper consistent on anything that they put their mind to, while others just aren't? In today's podcast, we're going to talk about consistency habit beliefs that I had for years that I was wrong about. The purpose of this episode is to help you think about your consistency in the goals. I mean, we're early on in the new year, depending on when you're listening to this. And it's about time where a lot of people stop doing the things that they actually wanted to do for self improvement. And so we're going to talk today about the consistency habits that I had put into place for years that just set me up for failure so that possibly you can identify maybe they're working for you, or maybe that's something that you would like to sit down and reevaluate. As always, I make suggestions, you make decisions. And we're going to sit down and have a chit chat. Welcome to the Creative Life in Motion podcast. I'm your host, Karen Wilson, and I'm here to help you discover, move, and be unstoppable, even with limited time and budget, no matter what age or what spot you are in your journey. Let's talk a little bit about consistency. Consistency really, in my opinion, is a pathway to freedom. It's a pathway to allow you to like yourself, to show your body that you actually like it. I think that's the pathway to true consistency. If we're doing something that feels like torture, it's going to be really, really hard to allow ourselves the freedom of continuing with it, which makes consistency difficult to begin with. So I'm going to share with you, these are more specific to maybe if you have fitness related goals, weight loss goals, body recomposition goals, things that actually have to do with your body or your health and wellness. So if that's you, please stay tuned. That's our topic today. I'm going to start with number one. I just started a new program about a month ago, building my strength. I'm 50 years old right now. I know that I have some atrophy happening. I've lost muscle. I know muscle is the fountain of youth. It also helps in the long term, putting that time in my personal health account enables me to be stronger. My bones will be stronger, my balance will be better, so that in 10, 15 years, 20 years, and maybe even 30 years, I'll still be hiking up the mountains. I'll still have great balance on a chair or a stool. If I continue to practice that, that's where I'm at in my health goals too, which is why I shy away from sharing people, this is what you do to lose weight. My biggest consistency mistake was weighing myself every day. And you know what? I almost fell into this again. And I'm just going to share with you the benefits, the pros and cons of this so that you can make your own decision on if this is a good consistency habit for you. The whole thought and concept around weighing yourself every day allows you to have that mindset that I'm going to stay on the rails today. If I know that I'm getting on the scale tomorrow morning, I'm probably not going to, eat the things that make me weigh more. So excess salt, maybe restaurant food, maybe having a binge. It's going to help me stay on the rails. It's going to help me with my calorie count. It's going to help me with everything. If I weigh myself every day, I won't fall off the wagon on the weekends. Okay, that is, in theory, a great way to stay on track. It's just like when you go to a new dietitian or a new trainer, they say, could you please give me a food diary for 3 days of your life? And those 3 days, you probably are going to have a cleaner version of what you normally eat, or maybe a second thought over something that you think might be, quote unquote, a good food or a bad food, which I despise that as well. I mean, there are no bad foods. There are better decisions. There are healthier options. But once we put things in that category, it can really kind of mess with mindset and relationship with food and health and exercise. Weighing yourself every day, yes, I agree that it helps consistency and helps to feed the habit of looking for more nourishing foods. However, it also can create an obsession over what that scale says. And weight is absolutely no reflection of everything that's going on internally. Now, I almost fell into this trap again. I used to weigh myself. I had an obsession with the scale, self-imposed. Okay, I remember when I was first like back when I was 27 years old and I had first started walking and the weight was coming off. I never thought weight would ever come off of me. I was happy the way I was, but it became like kind of like this high. Every time I would go to my mom's and I'd be doing laundry there, I'd pull her scale out from underneath the bathroom sink and I'd step on it. And for weeks and weeks and weeks, it was going down, 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 down. And it just kept going down. And every time it went down, I was feeling so excited and so proud of myself at being at a place that I thought that I would never be. It made me feel so good. And at the same time, I'm getting rewarded by friends and family. It's like, oh my goodness, you look so good. So it's creating this thing. For me, it created a little bit of an addiction. And the reason why I knew it turned into an unhealthy obsession was because when the weight loss stopped and the scale started to fluctuate, I panicked. I didn't know what to do. I began weighing myself in the morning, at lunch, at night. I would weigh myself sometimes 6 times a day. I would weigh myself after every meal so that I began to know, what are these fluctuations? And then when I began to build muscle and the scale just kept going up and up and up, I panicked. I would look in the mirror and I saw things that, I really didn't want to see. I saw lumps and bumps and I thought I should be seeing, all this firm muscle because, when you put on muscle and they say, muscle weighs more than fat, but I wasn't seeing it in the mirror. So I guess it was about, I think it was about 4 years ago now. I said, I'm done. I'm just not weighing myself. I knew that I had gained weight. I knew that I had put weight on after I had my what I'm calling my hormonal bunk. I just basically I hit perimenopause, and in order for my body to feel safe, I needed to stop doing a lot of the exercises, overexertion that I was doing, which the response was weight gain. And I had to learn how to be okay with that. So the first step was not weighing myself. And although some people might say, oh, well, it's denial, for me, it allowed me to just have a relationship with who I am right now in this moment instead of comparing myself to a different version of me. So keeping health and wellness still and activities and physical fitness still in my days, in my spheres, and still continuing to put that into my health account. I didn't stop that, but I stopped the weight being the focus. So then, okay, cleaned out my closet. I shared that video on YouTube about how I got on the scale after I weighed the bag of clothes that I was going to get rid of. And I was like, oh my gosh. So when I was reading the materials of the fitness program that I started, which is based on, strength building, they talk about weighing yourself. And then I was listening to a nutrition coach and she said, you got to weigh yourself every day. And so I began weighing myself every day. And, I put it on kilograms so that, the number is just a little gentler. And you know what? After about 2 weeks of weighing myself every day, I said, "Why am I doing this? Why? Like, what really is the point? It's not gonna help me stay on track. I know I trust myself to stay, quote, unquote, "on track," which really, what is on track? If you prefer to weigh yourself every day and that keeps you on track, let me know, but don't come for me. Like, you do you, I do me. I'm just sharing with you a consistency habit belief that I feel was wrong for me. You decide what's right and what's wrong for you. Number 2 was tracking every morsel of food. All right. This does help consistency. Again, though, it can create a problem. So let's talk about, I think go back to about 2014-ish. I was like in the peak of my fitness. I still didn't see it in the mirror, but now I look back at pictures and I'm like, whoa, wow. I had a very muscular, lean physique. And in order to get that, I needed to count every single morsel that went into this body. And the interesting part of that is I started tracking and counting, and I found out that I wasn't eating enough. And I'm going to get into that. I'm going to touch on that in just a second. But what I found was I did that for 10 months and I got in the best shape of my life, but I also was terrified of restaurants. I didn't like going to functions, especially if they involved food, because I wasn't in control of the food or the ingredients. Hello, a little bit swayed to the, not the best pattern to have to, quote unquote, live your best life. Like, really? You're going to say no to one cookie? Well, for some people, saying yes to one cookie means saying yes to a whole box. That can be my personality. I'm not going to say it is my personality, but I've been known to do that. In order for me to stay, like, on track with my goals, it was tracking every single morsel of food. And I feel like that does have a place to keep consistency at play because it allows you to know what things are, what things measure. If you don't know anything, there's no chance for an improvement. But what I don't like about food tracking apps, especially my Fitness Pal, is they default you to a 1,200 calorie, that's what you need to eat every single day to lose weight. Well, I'm sorry, you're never gonna build muscle on a consistent 1,200 calorie diet, and muscle is the fountain of youth. Muscle is the thing that helps your metabolism grow, your bones stay strong, and your ability to, stay healthy through the years. So it's not just a size, it's not just a calorie number, and tracking meticulously, you can't do that forever. And I think that consistency traps where you go backwards as soon as you stop using them don't work because you're not going to be using them for the rest of your life. Unless you decide, yeah, I'm going to use it for the rest of my life. And then you can argue with me. But I just don't think it's a great consistency pattern. It's hard work. Again, with this new program, I've been tracking everything and I definitely don't want to track things for the rest of my life. It feels restrictive. Even though I'm not eating in a restrictive way, I'm just, making sure that I have enough protein to match the goals of building muscle and making sure that I'm not too much in a calorie deficit because if you're in a calorie deficit for too long, that wreaks havoc on your hormones. And if you're perimenopausal, 35 plus, and you have too many stressors on your body, all of the goals are just going to backfire. And so that's why, it's good to use them. They're great tools, but not to overuse them. I don't think it's a really great consistency habit. It definitely was not the right one for me. The third consistency habit that was told and believed and even said, and you've heard me say it probably before, is never miss a Monday. When I say never miss a Monday, I mean like never miss a Monday for a workout. That's usually the context that it's said in. I say now that depends. It depends what you did on the weekend. If you were very active on the weekend, outdoors doing stuff, you probably need to take Monday off. And I find that lately I wear an Aura ring and it measures my stress. I've been wearing it for 3 years, so I have lots of data. It measures my stress and it helps me to stay in sync with my perimenopausal hormones because the more stress I have, the more weight I hold. And in weight, I mean more of the inflammation weight, the hold the water, and, the fat that's in the muscles, the dangerous stuff, the abdominal. So if I wanna ensure that I'm combating that or nourishing that type of stress, I need to look at all of my habits, right? And so sometimes too much exercise can make that more acute. You can tap into adrenal fatigues. And if you're a woman over 35, you are a lot more susceptible to those moving variables. And so what I learned was by watching my data is not only did I learn how to sync my workouts with my cycle, which has been phenomenal for any other perimenopausal symptoms. I've just been able to sidestep them, which has been fantastic. However, there's one that's been kind of, you know, tugging on my ear, and that is the Mondays. For whatever reason, and I think it's because I have to go back to work. Mondays are just high stress for me. For whatever reason, even though I like what I do, I have a higher stress response on Monday morning. And so I've since changed Mondays to like for the last about month or so. Instead of forcing myself to start Monday with a workout, I've been starting Monday with a long form restorative yoga session. And it's been a world of difference. So perhaps missing a Monday is the thing that you do need. It's not a consistency habit, but it is a consistency habit to put more nourishing time in your workout schedule. So that's going to be a new consistency habit is more restoration, right? So, I want to give you things that you can add to a consistency habit. So, if you weigh yourself every day, allow yourself maybe to weigh yourself once a month. Give yourself that freedom from the chains. Tracking every morsel of food. Track it for a day or two. If you don't trust yourself on the weekends, just track your food on the weekends. I get that. But make sure that you're not doing it from a punishment view. Never miss a Monday? Well, that might be true, but make sure you're doing the right thing on Monday, right? So that's the pathway of consistency that allows you freedom. Show your body that you actually like it. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be easy. Let's not get confused between the necessity for effort and trapping yourself in a punishment atmosphere. Okay, so necessity for effort is not going to be easy. You may actually have to change a few habits, which are going to require some discipline. You might need to try something new so that you can reach your goal. Let's like pick up a dumbbell instead of going for a run. You may need to unplug more. Maybe you need to like log off of social media and that's your sweet spot ticket. But you don't need to do it all at once. Maybe you just need to go for a walk. Maybe you just need to adopt a really great walking program and let your body restore while you're still, keeping your fitness in check. And I have one of those, by the way, shameless plug, walk it off. I'll make sure that that's linked below. An all or nothing approach, though, you don't want to do it all at once because all or nothing approach will only get you so far. An all in approach opens up a mindset that inspires curiosity. So it's like, what if I had? What if I tried this? Fill in the blank. What if I changed this habit to that habit? I talked a little bit about that, about setting up your morning routines and your super stack in the last episode that I did. And you're going to want to watch that if this piques your interest in like the what if, right? So let's talk just a second about an atmosphere that is a punishment mindset. And that would be like stuff like trading food for exercise. That's not the game to play. And doing workouts that leave you so sore that you can't even go to the bathroom. I know there's all these memes on Facebook and stuff about leg day being so great. I can't go to the toilet. That's not what you want. That's actually could really be damaging. You could be really damaging your ligaments if you're working out that hard. Counting every morsel that goes in your mouth is also a punishment. It's calling food good or bad, telling yourself you can't, eating 1,200 calories a day because someone told you that that's what you need for weight loss. That's not sustainable. It's not sustainable for very long. When I was at the peak of the fitness, what I was talking about a little earlier back in 2014, when I was counting everything and I was super lean, I was eating close to 3,000 calories per day in order to achieve that body composition. It was a full-time job prepping food and timing of food, and it wasn't just like a diet of 1,200 calories to get lean. I went on a body composition journey. Not I didn't really know that that's what I was doing, but now that I know what body recomp looks like, I was like, "Oh, I get it. That's what I did." Okay, so another punishment atmosphere would be calling things cheat meals and calling yourself lazy and not giving a crap about what you put in your mouth and then complaining about no energy. Telling yourself you'll be happy when, and then fill in the blank. I came across this quote actually when I was looking for things. Dress for the body that you have, not the body you want, because that body may take months or years to achieve. And you don't deserve to look and feel miserable until that happens. So let's just end this off with a quick visualization. Okay. You can close your eyes if you want. I want you to imagine yourself as you are right now. You're getting ready to meet with a best friend at your favorite coffee shop. You walk in to see your best friend sad with tears in their eyes, feeling unloved. That person, your friend, is you. What do they need to feel loved by you? Let that sit with you for a minute. Let that sit with you all week. Journal on it. You know, what what does your body need from you to feel that love? I also came across this article from CBC, and it talks about why the science of weight loss says you have to start loving yourself. And it's actually a physiological thing. When we allow our minds to love our bodies, it creates safety. And so if there's any residual stress, residual trauma, when your body feels safe, it will release that. And usually the reason why we gain weight is because it's the body's mechanism, safety mechanism to keep you safe, to keep your organs safe. It's how we were designed when you go back to like 500 thousands of years ago. And, when women would put a little bit of body weight on, or even men for that matter, it was to protect us from a famine. Stress was there. And so in in this day and age, we get stress from everything. We get it from the chemicals in the store. We get it from the lights, the computers, the rays, you can't avoid it. There's invisible stressors and there's visible stressors, and there's things that we can do to make our bodies feel safe and sometimes there's things that we cannot do. So intense exercise when your body is already stressed is just going to drive it up even more. And if you'd like me to go a little bit deeper on this topic, let me know. I really appreciate you being here and hanging out with me, and share with me what are some of the consistency habits that you're going to ditch, and what are some of the consistency habits that you have that work for you right now, and what is it that you're looking to be consistent with? I know those are lots of questions. If this was enjoyable to you, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and leave a review if you're listening on one of the podcast players. And if you're right here on YouTube, we can chit chat in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me. Talk again soon. Bye.